filming?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the thing that I'm taking on today is something that I only discovered a couple of days ago, which is timed perfectly because I want to do it for my friend Paul's birthday. I don't know if anybody knows, but I can solve Rubik's Cubes. I also have quite a collection of novelty Rubik's Cubes. And today, as I saw in a recent video, I am actually going to try to put a Rubik's Cube inside of a bottle. It's normally, this guy is a 3x3 Rubik's Cube that goes in a slightly smaller jar. But all I could find locally was this jar here. So I have to use a more complicated Rubik's Cube in order to take up space. So I actually just spent the last hour taking this apart and putting it back together so that I could make sure that I knew how to do it before I got started. That was an ordeal, but I know how to do it now. Now I just have to figure out how to do it inside this bottle using chopsticks. Should be easy. So one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I was doing my trial run was that I lost track of all the pieces. So I have to make sure to do a much better job of keeping track of them to make it a little bit faster to put it back together. But the first step is to take apart all the pieces so that they can fit inside there. So basically all of this and this is what I'm working with. First piece goes in there, and then all of this is built around it. The couple of instructional videos that I watched on YouTube, in them, they, as I mentioned, they were using like 3x3 Rubik's Cubes instead of the 4x4, so this is going to be a little bit more challenging. But also they were using clear jars that didn't have these ridges, so that you know, the inside was a little bit more visible, but I'm up for the challenge. So I actually have a bad feeling about this. I don't feel like this is going to go quite as well as I expect. Like, even my practice putting together of it earlier was not great.
I don't know how you're going to do this, but it'll be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. All I can say is Paul had better like it. Just thought of something, and I don't know if this is going to work, but the problem that I'm noticing as I'm getting started is that as I put the ball in and as I put the pieces in, they shift around the ball inside the jar, and there's nothing really I can do about it because I don't have the dexterity. Because I don't have the dexterity with the chopsticks like I did with my fingers when I was putting it together before. But if Paul never takes it out of the jar, then maybe I can get away with gluing some of these pieces together. I've made a terrible mistake.
I've made a huge mistake.
I've made a huge mistake.
You've made a huge mistake.
I've made a huge mistake.
I've made a huge mistake.
This is really more difficult than they make it look on YouTube. I can't even get the first part done. I can't eat that. Okay, I'm gonna try the scarf. Going to try to occupy most of the space of the jar with fabric, forcing the cube closer to the top as I'm building it. Now, with the 4x4, I definitely expected that this wouldn't work because so many of the pieces it's very easy to shift them around in the wrong way, and I figured the uneven surface wouldn't be good, but I'm going to try it anyway. I was starting to get really frustrated with this, so I had to call in some backup. Have I tried what?
Hi. Have you tried lowering it in with chopsticks?
Yes. There was absolutely no grip.
Do you have any tape or something that you can tape to the chopsticks?
Maybe. One thing that I did consider, but I don't know how this will work in the grand scheme of things, is like, what if I glued some of the pieces together? Like, if Paul never uses this, Paul never takes it out, like, do you know what I'm saying?
That's true, but how fun would that be for you to do?
How fun?
Well, like, it kind of defeats the purpose.
None of this is fun.
Why are you doing it?
Well, it was supposed to be a little bit fun, but it turned out to be less fun than I expected. I think I might have to accept defeat on this one. Brennan was just saying that he had never heard me swear this much, and that's probably true. I feel like Dustin from Stranger Things. I'm going to intersperse a clip of Dustin swearing.
Okay.
Bitch, asshole, shit, damn it, bullshit, son of a...
I think I may have come up with the only possible solution.
Just chuck it.
That is a Rubik's Cube in a bottle. Some assembly required. Paul likes puzzles. Obviously, Paul likes Rubik's Cubes, so Paul likes puzzles. In some sort of ironic way, he might actually appreciate this. Happy birthday, Paul. Say hi to the internet.
Ball in there. Hi.
This would be just like me, though, to give failure as a gift. Don't laugh at me.
You're not a failure.
This project is a failure.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're a failure.
But hold on, wait a second. I may have just thought of something else.
Something else besides, like, the cop-out.
Yes.
Are you gonna put it in the glass?
I'm gonna try! Like, I don't think it'll physically fit.
I don't think this is what you had in mind.
That was another pipe dream. The opening on this bottle is much too small. However, the reason that I picked this bottle is because it is smaller than any of the Rubik's Cubes. The other ones that I was looking at when I was shopping earlier today, were all bigger than a Rubik's Cube. And that, if I want to go with this joke, that might be exactly what I need. I think she got bored of watching me.
Never. Did it freeze up? It froze up.
Did it freeze up? Yeah, sure. Oh my god, I hate my life right now.
So you couldn't fit them.
So even though I didn't want to put such a small cube inside such a big jar, I think that might be better than nothing. So I think I'm going to put the 3x3 inside here. I'm at least going to try that out.
The cute video of Casey as a little kid.
I know, right?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were so friendly.
Shit!
recording?
Get out! Get out!
Do you think he saw?
The funniest part is that this was recording the whole time.
Nice. Do you think he saw?
So, no, you didn't ruin a take, but you may have ruined your birthday surprise.
Surprise!
Surprise!
I can't tell what's happening.
Wait a second.
anyways.
Okay,
Wait
so
a second,
hold on.
wait.
This
So
no.
you don't have to
Take
explain anything because I don't understand what's happening.
okay. So long story short, Paul, because you just happened to walk in. Have you ever seen a Rubik's cube in a jar?
No.
Okay, so that's a thing that exists. I discovered it a couple of days ago. I decided to actually try it because I saw some instructional videos on how to do it. Only jar I could get that was where the mouth was actually smaller, because having a mouth this small isn't very practical for like kitchen things. So finding a jar where the mouth was actually small enough and the base was actually big enough to hold a Rubik's cube, this is the only one I could find. At Winners, by the way, you're welcome. Problem is I didn't want to put a 3x3 inside a giant container like this, so I tried to put a 4x4. I've been doing it for 3 hours. That's the project that I mentioned that I was having trouble with. So here are all the pieces. So I was finally going to concede, and I was going to try to put the 3x3 inside the container.
Yeah.
Failing that, I was actually going to, and I have footage of myself saying that I was going to do this. I was going to take all the pieces and put them in here and be like, here's a Rubik's Cube in a jar. Some assembly required.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Do you still want it for your birthday? I just thought you would love it. That's all. I thought you would love it. I'm at the point where I can't keep it a secret anyway, so I can't even do it. I've been at the I can put a 4x4 together like on a table, but not inside of a jar. So basically, I was just gonna stick this in there now and try to use chopsticks to put it together.
Well, sometimes you need it.
That's how they do it on the instructional videos on YouTube.
That's hilarious.
Surprise ruined. So there was some discussion that I should have put Paul's own Rubik's Cube in there as a prank because he actually had this left at my office. I decided not to because I thought, like, what kind of a birthday gift is a prank? But then he came in and thought that that was a good idea, so maybe that's what I'll try to do now. Anyway.
So you don't need to get me anything for my birthday. This is enough. 3 hours laboring over a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
Oops.
That's happened quite a few times, Paul. Paul is very technical and handy, so he's attempting to do it himself. What are you looking for?
The corner piece with blue.
White and...
You guys are really good at this.
No, you guys got a lot
We
of
haven't
patience.
done anything yet.
Well, you're figuring it out. You're tinkering,
That's true.
which is more than I have the patience for.
Having some trouble there, Brennan?
A little. This is just all new to me. Interesting, though. Doesn't seem to be working. Okay. At an angle, as you said. Ah, voila. Next.
Yeah, you're getting close.